Mentor Tai Chi. I'm Sifu Todd. Today, Jamie's going to help me deal with structure. So I'm going to actually teach her, like I'm just teaching a lesson. I'm going to show her how she can start balancing out her structure. And when we talk about structure, that's really what we're talking about, balancing. How well you can take what you put to the ground to what you put forward to the other person. So just bring your hand up.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to put pressure on her structure. I want you not to collapse, okay? So don't just hold your ground.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to put pressure. You see it's starting to move her back. I'm way too big for her just to hold her ground against. There is a certain amount of structure she can counterbalance. By doing that, she has to only put out here what she can put there. So instead of thinking get heavy here first, think get heavy to your feet. Just drop your weight. Feels more stable? Feel like I'm putting a lot more force out, but it's not having that same effect on you. So I have to put a lot more energy out before it starts to break your structure because now it's in balance.
Right.
And whatever your natural strength is will determine that level. And it's going to be different for you, me, everyone. But whatever it is balanced between out and down, that's idea is the same. So whenever you, so your energy's at 5, mine's at 8. I can hold up to 8 before I have to move.
Right.
You can hold up to 5. But as long as you keep that 5 balanced, you're fine. So if I'm putting pressure on you, you keep that down to the ground. See, it's going head forward, down to the ground. So don't add here anything more than you can add there. Does it feel solid now? Right, so now you're at your 5. So if I start putting 6, now I'm exceeding what your structure can hold normally, naturally relaxed. So you have to turn that excess energy to motion somehow. Anything past what your structure can hold has to turn to motion. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. One, you could step. You could release and dissipate the energy.
Okay.
So I push it into you. You could take a step to release it. Right, good. So that's one way to do it. The problem with that is it's not dealing with it at the point of contact and you're actually going backwards. So you're actually giving ground when you don't necessarily need to.
Okay.
So what you want to do is try to move that energy right here at the point of contact so you can stay forward and to me. So as soon as you feel you're past your natural structure, what I want you to do is just turn your wrist with your palm.
Okay.
Don't push me anywhere. Don't move me anywhere. Just stay forward and turn the wrist. See, it's pushing out. You're not trying to push me. You just stay right here.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep this. Pivot right at that point. Right. See how the energy changed? Yep. Now, what happens is I'm trying to line up energy onto her structure. Her structure's at 5, I'm at 6, 7, whatever. So she's turning, so I can't line up past that. It's actually bleeding off. So when I try to add more past her structure, she's going to feel that turn. So now, see, now the pressure's back on me.
Right.
Because I'm trying to press out here. She let that go. She didn't hold that energy, she turned it. But now she's putting pressure on me somewhere else where I wasn't focused, so now that pressure goes back into me.
Right.
So even though I'm bigger, if I try to put pressure on you and you're able to turn that, it's going to start affecting me.
Right.
So you're returning energy into my structure where I'm not paying attention to it, so it's going to imbalance me. So that's the job. We have to both counterbalance each other in order to keep the play going.
That makes sense.
So if I lose that, you press into me, I lose that counterbalance, it's going to start making me collapse.
Right.
But if I keep that counterbalance and you push into me, see it moves, and now I feel like you're trying to extend it a little bit, right? See it wants to go. So that's where the wrist comes in. How do you keep that balance as you move? Turn the wrist. Right, not to stop me. Just keep that forward pressure.
Right.
Anything more than what this can handle, just keep
Too
turning.
much. Okay.
See, it's trying to push me a little lighter. Just here, just turn. Right, feels off of you. Now if I try to line it up again, you have to turn the wrist again.
Which way would I turn it?
Doesn't matter.
Matter.
Now, when you turn it that way, so you try to push me to the side.
Okay.
You're going to turn it to go forward, so think about going to my forearm.
Okay.
And try to get the thumb turning towards me. Almost, see it's slightly pushing out. Just think
of
of right here, that's it, that's all you need. That's it, see now the pressure's back on me. That's actually hurting my shoulder, believe it or not, because now I'm trying to strain at a bad angle. So that actually goes back in my shoulder and I feel that twinge. So that's good, so now you're balanced, but my structure is collapsing. It's going back into me. And that's it. So I have to play that back. So if you go here, how do I do that? Well, as you press me, I could push into me, I could step and release that. That's one way to do it. But you see how I'm moving? I'm moving from the hip and the ground, push. I'm moving this way, but the wrist is an afterthought.
Right.
So what happens is if I do that, I could do this. But if you can feel that imbalance between my wrist and my body, you can take that and start shifting it into my hand. So I go, right, and then I'll die here and I'll get caught because this is imbalanced with the rest of my body. So I want to get here. As you press me and it push into me and I'm caught here, I have to balance this out to balance my body to that. So now as you press heavy, I can move that. So if I press heavy on you, right now you feel you're unbalanced, you went too far. So you can only put this out, what you got here. You put more out here than you have to the ground, so it pulls you off balance, right? It makes your center of gravity shoot up and out. Everyone's going to do that. Under pressure, that's the skill.
Right.
That's the training. You're
Yeah,
trying to make
right.
that harder and harder for someone to pull you off your balance.
Right.
And more you're going to feel what they're giving you and manipulate that.
Gotcha.
And that's the only chance you have against me. If I come barreling at you, you're not going to be able to stop me force on
I
force.
better practice.
Yeah. If I come pressing in, you're not going to stop me. That way.
Right.
You could turn me. Ah, see, that's a push.
Yeah.
See? That's it. So if I press heavy,
There's a slight difference.
that's it. See,
Yeah.
now I could put more force, but I'm going that way.
Right.
I can adapt and change it, but that's where the skill comes in. You
Mhm.
can adapt and change too. So you can keep countering me. That's your skill level. If your skill's better than me, I won't be able to put the pressure back on you. So there's another way we could show this without just having the contact. Like you see as I press, she's turning the wrist. That's fine. The other part of it, before I get into from the form, how you can show it, I want to show the other part we do with the wrist is not just a turn, it's an arc to do a spiral. So you have the turn of the wrist. Right. Now, another way to keep me from lining up force is to turn the wrist and allow that to lead an arc. So when I try to come back to line up to you, you don't give me a straight line. Keep turning that, keep turning that. Don't worry about stopping. Right, so now I don't have a straight line. I try to line it up, turn the wrist, turn the wrist first.
Or would I turn it this way?
You can turn it either way, really.
Okay.
But let's say you start pulling me, you just want to turn the wrist to go forward. And then as I press, this is dying. As you're turning, keep it here. Now, find an arc, go up. Right, so now you found the arc to the energy, now you can move.
Okay.
Because you can turn your wrist, but if you turn your wrist to drop, like press me, see I'm dropping energy to my elbow, I'm not forward anymore.
Right.
I have to keep it out here. As you press, I can move that, I have to keep it out here though. So even if my elbow goes down, see how my wrist stayed forward? I didn't do this. I didn't pull it away from you. And that you feel like, oh, now you can evade me.
Right.
I'm going to hit you now. So the other thing is this arc or spiral, because if you're doing an arc and a forward motion, you have a spiral.
Right.
And you want to have those in balance, so you don't press then turn, because then you're losing the spiral. So I press it, relax, get the balance to the body. Right. Now turn the wrist. That's not the wrist turn. You'll feel it in your shoulder immediately. That's the good thing about it is like there's immediate feedback to your shoulder. So he's like, oh, why does that suck so bad? It's because this is trying to lift with bad leverage.
Right, we don't want to do that.
Technically, if you keep your energy out here, you have the leverage because you are past the point of contact. But if you move from here, you don't have any leverage.
Right.
You may be strong enough to make up for that, but you're not going to be stronger than me. So if we both run into that same thing, you're going to feel the weight go right back on you because energy always goes to the weakest spot. So even if your structure is perfectly lined up forward, and my structure is perfectly lined up forward, we run into each other, your structure's at 5, mine's at 8.
Right.
That 3 will overpower you.
Right.
So you have to do something with that 3.
Right.
And that's if I play someone who's at a 10 in structure, real huge, I got to deal with that excess too. So it has to turn the movement somehow. Now you're pushing me away. Same bounce to the ground. Turn the wrist. It's out here. That's it. Right. You feel how it's easy?
Yeah.
You feel just, it feels like floating feeling.
You really
like it
can
wants to
tell
go
the
away.
difference, like when you get it right versus
Yeah, you're like,
wrong.
because now you feel like you can go forward towards me.
Right. Yeah.
The other ones you feel like you're trying to knock me to the side.
Right.
Now you feel like, oh, you're down. I'm going in. Punch you. Yes, please. Bounce to the ground. Feel your top heavy. There you go. Now turn. That's it. Now you feel you can enter because I'm turned away. And that's what you want. You want to feel like when you're going forward to hit me, it's not an answerable hit because I've already turned my force off.
Right.
If I'm going here and we're playing like this and bring your hands up, let's play. You're going to hit me. You don't want to hit me if I can hit you back.
Right.
Because we're just going to trade, and chances are if someone's actually trying to hurt you, they already think they're bigger and stronger.
Right.
Not too many smaller people tend to pick the fight. So they're going to come after you and you're not going to want to run into them.
Very spunky.
Yes. But if we get here and I go to hit you, you want to be able to hit me back, not from pushing, turn it. So you see how now my energy turned off?
Right.
That's when you go in. That's the safe spot. That's the sweet spot where you can attack.
You know, their students are going to be very upset that you're teaching this to me.
Well, that's good, because then they can see that they're doing it wrong and they can fix it. Now, the other part was hit from the form. So we go from the form. So you go from, you're doing it like the ton sound and so tell. Okay, all right, that's good. I'll bring it back to the side. I'm going to put 2 fingers on here, and I want you to bring it out. Let's bring the ton sound out. Right. Push at the elbow. Push the elbow forward. Root to the ground. Push it heavy. Where do you feel the energy's at?
It's shooting back up.
It's shooting back in your shoulder, right. Because what happens is you're fighting me at the point of contact from your elbow, which is going to be controlled by the shoulder.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is, as you go, I want you to think about putting it to these 2 points, if you can see that. These 2 points on the palm. What that's going to do is send energy out through the wrist. So I'm going to hold here. I'm going to still hold you, but I want you to focus on putting it here. Not trying to fight me at the point. Good. Now turn the wrist as you go forward. Good. So now as I press harder here, you put the energy right back to those 2 points. And now you're rooted and projected.
And he's really pushing. Like I can feel.
You can feel the force.
Yeah, he's not just like dramatic.
Yeah, but it's rebounding into my body because my structure is bad and your structure is better.
Right.
So
if I work on that, like it'd be faster. But
yeah, because even though I'm putting out force, my structure's bad.
Right.
I'm having weak spots.
Right.
You don't have a weak spot, so the energy rebounds into where I'm imbalanced. So energy already goes to the weakest point. Water always goes to the lowest point. The lowest point of energy is in my body. Even if I'm trying to put out a lot of force, there's one point that's off, and you're finding that.
Right.
So if you're trying to work on this on your own, try to work on your form and get your time. Imagine those 2 points are going forward as you turn. Not trying to press your arm and elbow out. Have the elbow go behind it. You still need it. It goes behind those 2 points to go forward.
Like when you told me to do that, I almost imagine like there's almost like 2 like little rods right there, and that's where I'm imagining the.
And that's when you play it, you have to get better and better, so you can do that on your own.
Right.
You can imagine that feeling
you
on
force
your own.
with your other arm.
Right. But as you're learning, you're going to be off, and you're like, okay, why am I off? And then if you have somebody to work with, put the pressure there. Okay, now I can rebalance that because now I have the energy out. It's projected. So try that. Get back to us. If you have any questions, let us know. We'll be back to you as soon as possible.
And if you haven't subscribed already, subscribe. See you later.
Thanks.